Hell, fire. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to the review of. This is the old Green Lantern. I don't think there's a new Green Lantern. Is there?
No, there is one. It is from 2022. It came out like 2-3 weeks ago with Jon Stewart.
Really?
Yes, it has Jon Stewart. That's what I was gonna. I'm glad you brought. Yeah.
This is the one with Yummy Man Ryan Reynolds.
2011's Green Lantern. Yes, I was not. Yeah. Here we
No, Yummy Man Ryan Reynolds. He's a delicious man. Have you not been online at all? It's
no,
okay.
It's toxic.
You can be gay for Ryan Reynolds.
I've been better
and still
about
be
my
straight.
sanity.
It's okay.
I don't go online all the time.
He's the one exception always. Because he's Ryan Reynolds.
Holy
But
crap,
no.
this movie was just okay. Mind you, I have not said anything for the past minute or two. This movie is just okay.
This movie is just okay. Like, this movie is just okay.
I like this
It
movie.
was trash before, so I'm super psyched about how much I've changed my mind.
Yeah, because everyone has said this was the shittiest movie, like, to come out, period. And I had that mindset. I watched it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, now the shittiest movie of all time is that's from childhood that was ruined is The Last Airbender. Now that's the shittiest movie. It takes its place.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Back.
Yeah.
We might have to go back and watch that.
Oh god, no! We're
I
not
liked
doing
it.
full movie reviews. I'm vetoing that right now.
Anyway, you know the general rules. First, we give a general review, and then the spoiler in-depth review of here's everything that was wrong. So, did anyone want to start?
Yeah, I will.
You both want to start. I'm glad you're so eager.
I mean, Carlos, if since you have the most history with it, because this is my first time watching this movie, so if you want to go ahead, since you have the OG veteran opinion of it, go ahead.
Take us back to 2011. Young Carlos.
Okay. I can see him.
Yes, young Carlos.
Young lad in the middle of Chicago.
In the middle of Chicago.
Staring up at the tall buildings. He's thinking, Mother, one day what will I make of this big city? I'm going to be a big city man.
Yep.
And then he saw Green Lantern.
Turned 18 and I left Chicago. Yep, that was... that was like, it's Green Lantern's fault. It was all Green Lantern's fault. Yeah, so basically... when I first watched it as a kid, I was excited and I was having fun for most of the movie. I got to certain parts that I was like, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. Why does that look like that? This is very weird. And then, mind you, I was a Harry Potter kid growing up, so like I'd seen pretty good visual effects, good to great visual effects my whole life. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, God. Also anime, right? So I had a standard for animation.
Right.
And then 24-year-old Carlos watched this movie begrudgingly last night after being damn near forced by his two friends. Thanks, guys.
No problem, anytime.
Yep. I came out pleasantly surprised. And I'll say that it had good pacing. I didn't hate the story as I thought I initially would, but didn't hate the story as much. Good pacing. I actually enjoyed some aspects to the relationship in it, which I'll get into, that I genuinely think I have a thought process on that, on the relationship, because relationships done in movies are so overdone, that this one specifically, I was like, it's a breath of fresh air. And yeah, I would give this, my initial reaction at the start of this is going to be a 6.
All right. Big change when we talked about this in the past. And you're like, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes gives us like a 12%, whatever. You're like, that's terrible.
No, me a week ago, I was at a 1.
Yeah. You're like, it's awful.
Yeah. The internet didn't help.
Yeah, I just knew that the internet hated this movie, never watched it.
Yeah, 11 years with the internet after that movie, it just oof.
Fair enough.
Yeah, made it worse every day. So, Dylan, you want to go ahead and give yours? I'm at a 6.
Yeah, so first things first, this is not the best movie for me, even though I recommended it, because I do not care for Green Lantern personally. That is my hot take. So I wasn't really going into it like, oh man, this is going to be an awesome kick-ass movie with heroes I like. I put him down there with Aquaman as my two least favorite Justice League members.
The fish fucker.
Yes, correct, the
We
fish
can
fucker.
use whales.
And
Whales.
man, Ryan Reynolds...
Whales.
Overall, it was a really solid story. It had some weird pacing and everything, and you feel like there are certain things that are going to happen, but they never really full send on a lot of it. And you can clearly tell they were setting up for like several movies, but the backlash kind of went like, so.
Yeah, there was definitely going to be at least a sequel based on the ending.
Some of the CGI was like kick-ass. Some of the CGI was not so kick-ass. And some of the prosthetics and like makeup effects and art effects were just okay. If I were to compare this to like other standoff movies for Justice League members, man, I'm gonna have to give this like a strong 3 as my initial feelings of it.
Wow.
Okay,
I just did not.
It's your initial
overall.
feeling. We'll get into that later. I'm gonna try to sway you a little
okay.
bit later on. We're gonna get there.
Okay. No, that's fair. So I know nothing about Green Lantern. I've never read the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he wears a ring. I fucking didn't understand that his power was he makes shit with his ring. I'd sort of learned that from playing Injustice, but I never understood who Green Lantern was or anything. So this is my first like real experience to Green Lantern.
They're basically just Boy Scouts. They're just space Boy Scouts.
Yeah. I had a good time through all of this movie. Ryan Reynolds being a fire pilot was great. I don't know. You said that you didn't like the CGI. I never felt taken out of the movie. It felt like it fit the universe that was in the whole time. Like you're saying, I liked the relationship. It was done a little bit differently. It was nice. There was one set of characters that I felt were kind of pointless and shoehorned in.
Mm-hmm.
And for the villains, I don't know. I felt there was enough mystery because I don't know the comics that I was like, immediately after this movie, I looked up Green Lantern and and apparently there's like 80 different Green Lantern corps. There's like blue, green, black.
Yeah, there's one
pink,
for like each emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Every single color. Not even just emotions. There's like life and death ones.
There are a lot of dope ones. We can get into that a little bit.
I was very confused. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But yeah, overall, I liked the movie a lot. I left that movie happy with like an 8 probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I just was happy the whole time. I enjoyed it.
Did you watch the end credit scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
It honestly made me sad that there wasn't going to be another movie. Because I was like, I don't know, the childlike wonder in this movie, like the scene when he stops, the first time he has to use his power. We could talk about that later, but yeah, I was like, oh, I like that.
So those were our, non-spoiler reviews. Guys, if you get a chance, go watch the movie. We don't want to spoil it. At this point, we're about to get into this spoiler review and just kind of dig deeper into how we felt and give our final, ratings. If you don't mind, someone first, I'm gonna start real quick.
Yeah, we can go in the same order.
So, dude, I thought this was good. I really enjoyed, like, the relationship thing really shocked me. I want to just really give credit to that. So I'm going to take a couple seconds to just do that. I liked the breath of fresh air it was. Like I said, I thought it's different. It's the way that she came in and it was like, oh, hey, I don't have to start, this tense relationship and act like I hate you the whole time. No, I have genuine gripes with you. I think you're a child, but I also still love you. The thing I noted, I have it in my notes right here. It's like the whole time she still loves him and is actively trying to be with him. He's the problem, and it ties into the theme of him needing to be Green Lantern because it's all about fear. right? And I thought that being the theme and having that being integral to the story, whereas like, you have the typical. We all know the archetype for women being with superheroes is always like there always supposed to be this like reason why they're not together, and like she's gonna randomly leave her boyfriend one day if you're in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man thing, she's gonna leave her boyfriend for you when she realizes she loves you. No, this girl wasn't a dick to her current boyfriend. She didn't have a current boyfriend. She was all about him the whole time and still loved him and was still, this is a small detail that I hate about superhero movies sometimes is that they always. Their ex-girls always have new men, and then they realize, oh, well, I don't
or
want
like
my new
they
man.
have to
I
be a
want you.
superhero to get the girl.
Exactly. And he doesn't have to be a superhero to get the girl. It just helps because it's like
He just needed to not be afraid.
exactly. And
That's all it was.
and even when he was
it
a
also
hero, she told him like, you're still afraid. Like, dude, I get it. You're a superhero now. I respect that. I never at one point felt like she was going to be the problem of the movie or the damsel of the movie. I thought, she could be, but she didn't. It didn't just feel like they're like, oh, I know they're going to take her and she's going to be the, whatever.
Yeah, no, she even saved him with the drones at one point. From the
Exactly.
big
She's kind of a
squid monster.
badass,
Yeah,
and
it was good.
I will say too is like the thing with Hal Jordan, how they portrayed him in the movie is that they constantly made him self-aware that he is irresponsible. He is the problem in a lot of things, and her like driving that point home to get it through to him is such a very well written moment. It feels organic.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
It does. And I think even then, like, I would say, I would definitely say, like, Dylan, when you were comparing it to other DC films, and I understand it, because I'm pretty sure Man of Steel came out in 2012, 2013. This is in 2011. I genuinely don't think we can compare the two. Man of Steel is like, chef's kiss. It's probably my favorite DC film of all time. I get it. I get why you want to compare it to standalone DC films, right? But this is also, in itself, I thought this was, like Marcus said, like a fun, like when I was a kid, I enjoyed it for the most part. I think a lot of it was just I was at times taken out as a kid. I didn't feel as taken out by the CGI this time. There were some moments where it was spotty, but I didn't get taken out of the movie by it. I thought that the effects of is it Hector? Is it Hector?
Yeah, Hector Hammond.
The doctor, Hector, who ends up being kind of the mid-bad guy leading into Parallax. As a kid, I didn't even like Parallax, because I was like, it's another Silver Surfer leads to gigantic purple cloud, instead of us getting the actual, I forget his name, the Marvel villain, giant purple dude. You know what I'm talking about?
Thanos.
Nope.
Giant purple dude that's Marvel?
World Eater.
Dormammu?
World Eater. The World Eater guy.
Oh.
King the Conqueror.
World
No.
Eater. World Eater.
It starts with a D, right?
It's something. It's Galactus. Is it Galactus?
Thank you,
Galactus.
Galactus.
Oh, yeah.
It's Galactus.
With the Silver Surfer.
Galactus in Rise of the Silver Surfer, it's the second Fantastic Four movie. He's a giant purple cloud, and it barely shows like the shape of his helmet, which is an iconic Galactus look in the cloud. I thought as a kid, this reminded me so much of that I think that's what took me out of it when I saw Parallax. Right now, I'm looking at it, and I think it's a dope design. I like that there's a reason for everything in this movie. Everything felt linked, connected. It felt like the Sinestro thing is the only thing that took me out for this only reason. I was like, damn, I almost wish there was another movie. And I thought everyone's characters were really good. Yeah. But I just wanted, and I'm sure they would have explained it in the second movie perfectly fine, but I wanted there to be an explanation as to why, like, Sinestro took that ring in the end. Whether that be them saying, he's, or starting to show that he's really, like, because even at the end, he saved Hal from going into the sun. There was no link after that. He even announced him to the Green Lantern Corps as a hero. Like, there was no link or seeds planted in there that even said, hey, I'm really linked to this ring. I want that fear ring. He just kind of took it in the end credit scene. So, like, I'm sure they would have explained it, like I said, but I just wanted more to that. That brought me out of it where I was like, damn, I wish they had explained that. Like, kind of giving me the seeds of, like, the guy from Doctor Strange, the bad guy, Chiwetel Ejiofor, where he's like, she used dark energy, and now I have to, and she's the bad guy. She's a hypocrite. I have to become a bad guy and start taking out the dark energy out of people. Valid reason to become a bad guy. Mordo.
Oh, I didn't like the. I don't want to.
No. I mean, I'm just saying. In the first one, he had his reasons for becoming a bad guy. He felt betrayed by the ancient one, right? So valid. All right.
Oh, in the first one, yeah. Okay, no, I thought we were talking about.
I'm just talking about specifically like the reason why he became a bad guy. His reason why it's there. All right. I felt betrayed by the ancient one. She's a hypocrite. Uses dark energy. Horrible person.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Sinestro necessarily it was given out loud. It was kind of alluded to earlier, like Parallax thought he was doing good, and that was kind of. I saw the mirror image of that in Sinestro, where like he only told them to make the power ring yellow, the yellow power ring, to save and like stop Parallax. To save the core and stop Parallax. But they didn't actually capitalize on it. I felt so that was my only thing, and that's why I brought it to a 6. It was really good. I enjoyed the movie. There were some things that still brought me out of it, but there's still things I didn't necessarily think were great, but it was a really good movie. I might even move up to a 7 after that, if that's actually, I might, actually, yeah. Dylan, or Marcus, whichever one of you.
To comment on what you're saying there with Sinestro, what I think, why they did it the way they did, is it probably would have been he's already tried out the power ring, he's put it on and seen what it's like, but he doesn't use it because of the whole conversation there yet. Like, he hasn't used it yet. He's just tried it on, and then it was like, the moment you have the fear, it corrupts you, so they were going to save that for the next movie to be like, oh, yeah, well, that's why he went and grabbed the ring anyways, because he was already addicted to it. He tried it on or something.
But they didn't show him putting it. I mean, I'm sure they would have showed, like, a cutscene of it in the second movie.
Because if they would have shown... My thing is, if they would have shown anything with him, like, wanting it in this movie... It would have been like, exactly. Okay, it would have needed to happen in that movie then too. So that's why I think they didn't do anything with it, because that would be the next one, and that would have been too much for one movie.
Yeah, it definitely, and I get that. It's too much for one movie is a thing. We've all seen it in Marvel movies now. They like to throw things together. You all right there, buddy?
Yeah, no, I had to stretch for a second.
All good. All good. You just woke up like 15 minutes ago, man. You're good.
Yep.
Yeah, but I definitely think that it didn't feel out of place, but it definitely didn't feel as connected as it could have been. That was my only problem with that end credit scene. It was good though. I enjoy the way Sinestro even looks with the yellow suit. Sinestro is everything to me. I'm a big green.
It looks so cool.
I'm a big Lantern fan. Lantern, like all the cores. I've I've watched videos of. Read lore, love the different Lantern cores. You were mentioning Injustice, Atrocitus. The red has the red ring. The red Lantern core it's the one for Rage. It's just so dope, man. It's Lantern cores. It's definitely one of those universes I want to see explored more. Which, we will get into that later.
Mr. Beefy.
Okay. So I'm going to start off mine with a very positive note. They came in strong with the cast that they had. Not only did you have Ryan Reynolds, who, of course, as of lately, we kind of identify him as the comedic goofball. This is actually one of his better performances that I've seen of him as of recently, so I will give him that kind of credit. Additionally, you have Mark Strong, who's playing Sinestro.
Who played Sinestro, dude? From Kingsman.
Dude. Kingsman, and from a movie that I have in my personal collection, 1917, great World War I film.
I haven't watched it.
Awesome actor. Now, the thing that I did not like, I will say...
He's probably still talking on his end, but we don't hear him on Discord right now.
Now, I will say, however...
He's back.
Thank you. I will say, however, Tamora Morrison as Abin Sur... The one that one gives Hal the ring. Dude, Tamora Morrison, aka Boba Fett, aka all the clone troopers from the Star Wars. He had such great potential to be something more than just someone that dies in this film. And it's because it happens like within the first 10-20 minutes of the film. Dude gets jumped by Parallax, done.
Right? It's exposition. They give him the exposition.
It's exposition. But and I will be the residential, hey, I'm going to read the comics, compare the origin stories, and see how the things differ, because that's how I am. I love my comic books.
Which is totally okay to do.
And Abansor could have played such a large part into this. I kind of feel like if they would have sent like the fish guy to die instead, you know, and have Abansor be the one to kind of give how this trading in thought, because even Sinestro saying like, man, you remind me of him kind of thing. It's like, you know, yeah, I feel like there could have been a really good dichotomy set up there that they kind of fell short on, but it also adds to Hal Jordan as a character.
In the comics, is he normally alive?
Yes.
Okay.
From reading a couple of the comics, he doesn't die right away, but he is there to be like a teaching force, not just for Sinestro, but also Hal Jordan to a degree. I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's at least what I've gathered from the comics that I was reading.
Which, if you think about it, would be cool too if they did do a second movie, have like Sinestro betray them, and that's how he dies.
Exactly. That would have been such a badass turn too. But no, he got fucked up by Goodwill Dormammu.
Yeah.
I've come to bargain.
Don't get me started about Dormammu in the MCU.
Now, I will hear thy bargain.
No, every time you say
Fucking
Dormammu, I'm
stupid.
going to say I've come to bargain. It's just the way it
Oh,
is.
okay.
It's fucking stupid.
So, with that also being said, speaking about Dormammu, aka fucking Parallax, in the comics, Parallax is like this crazy-looking golden Shenron-looking dragon thing. Traditionally, no, they made him a weird Galactus face, and his arms and appendages looked like a dude's dreads that weren't washed.
Jesus, that's tough, bro.
And I was like, dude, I can't get over this. Parallax guy is supposed to be scary, which I understand that he was the overarching villain, but you know, also Hector Hammond, his origin story changed because instead of him being infected by a weird Parallax parasite thing, in the comics he actually has radiation poisoning that makes him basically MODOK. But instead of him giving the cool floating MODOK chair, they give him a fucking like Hawking's wheelchair.
Was he supposed to be MODOK?
He's DC's MODOK, yeah. Yeah, DC and Marvel have always had this thing where they steal each other's
like
characters.
the mirror effect. Yeah, there's always a mirror effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy was supposed to be the MODOK, and the MODOK got knocked out way too soon, because as I understand, Hammond plays a very vital role in Hal Jordan's life later on as their former coworker and friends.
Yeah, but I still, and I understand this. I understand, like you said, you like to go in depth in the comics. It's also like I like when they don't just take things out of the comics.
Oh no, of course. You know, agreed. I think that the effects that they had for his head made him look like a more grotesque version of his comic book form, which I loved.
Yeah, he looked disgusting.
He looked awful.
And
also I love the fact that they basically made him like the beta male simp incel of this whole story, and he's like, I want Coochie, I want Carol, fuck you. It just started going ape shit on everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I will say he had a shining moment. This man, when he's about to kill his dad because they had like drugged him up and they had taken. By the way, shout out to Amanda Waller being in this movie before she was in any other movie, and she was Angela Bassett. She was Angela Bassett too. Angela Bassett, if you don't know, Marcus, I know you're not too familiar with certain actors. She was Stella and how Stella got her groove back. She's T'Challa's mom in in Black Panther.
Yep.
You know. Yeah, that was Angela Bassett that played Amanda Waller. Also, an Amanda Waller sighting. What an Easter egg. Let's go. And then on top of everything, so the shining moment I think he had was in that scene where he, like, you know, Green Lantern came in, Hal's coming in to stop him, and he's like, you know, and then he touches his forehead. He, like, lays next to him. The way it shows, like, his legs kind of turn, and then he falls next to Hal, and he's like, hey. And he just, like, touches him. He's like, you're Hal. Look at you. You got everything again. I hate your guts. You know, like, it's that moment. I was like, that's so. I loved it the whole time. He's just like, you have everything, and then that moment, he's just like, yeah.
I also love in that scene. I also love in that scene too because he makes a very good point. He's like, man, we both have the same type of power. but how could we be so different? Like, how could our paths stray so far from each other? Because he was having those moments where he was relating to Hal to, like, a personal level. Because, you know, he can read every mind and memory. But at the same time, Parallax is influencing this dude to the point where it's like... I feel like as if Hammond and Hal were actually talking, there could have been reasoning. But it's because Parallax was kind of like... No, kill the Green Lanterns. You know, kind of...
Yeah, I mean, he
put him in a
kind of had
certain
a
path.
Derek personality, to be real with you. Like, I'm just saying. It's not. I'm not just dogging on Derek. I'm just saying, you know, kind of has a Derek to him. You know, just that kind of character. His dad just looks a certain way at him, and it's like, and I think that fear, and it was very clear that Parallax brought that fear of like, am I enough? You know, like I'm not enough, and all these people see it, and my dad hates me, and all this shit. Like, that's what I would imagine. Like, if Derek were to get Parallax, like infestation, like if Parallax were to infest Derek, that would happen. Same kind of shit, you know. Like, we'd be first to die, but like, you know,
Nah, I'd give Marcus the Green Lantern ring.
I would absolutely.
Nah, I would give it to Marcus.
When he sees the other Lantern Corps, I don't think Marcus would choose willpower. I think there's a few other that Marcus would be like, that one! Yeah. I want to show him
But
some of them.
knowing
Wait,
Marcus,
wait,
like,
what?
he'll just use the ring to make funny memes and just hit people with them, and it's gonna be the funniest shit.
It's funny, because I'm pretty sure the orange one is the one with greed, and it's literally this one guy who he's like, what's mine is his credence is what's mine is mine, so it's mine, so don't touch it. It's one guy. It's literally one guy, and his power ring. His whole thing is greed. That's his power. So his whole thing is what's mine is mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Don't touch it. It's mine. Like,
And the funniest thing about it is that the thing about the Orange Lantern Corps is that every previous wielder of the Orange Lantern their soul has been embodied into the lantern. So you think, oh well, if it's one dude, how could it be a Corps? No, the souls of all the other greedy bastards are in control by this one Lantern Corps member.
Oh.
It is.
It's
It is.
fucking
It
wild.
is. Yeah. It is orange. I'm pretty sure it is orange. Yeah.
It is orange.
Oh, why does Orange have to be the bad guy?
Former members: Lex Luthor.
Whoa.
That's enough. I don't even have to keep going. It's yeah.
But yeah, that's where all my positive stuff kind of ends. With the negative, back onto like my little point here, is did I miss the scene where Sinestro took the strongest Green Lantern fighters to fight Parallax, or am I missing something?
No, you didn't miss
Sinestro
it. You didn't. You want to know? You definitely did miss it then. Yeah, I actually think you might have, because he took them there and he saw them all getting killed and like their souls were getting sucked out because they had fear. And then he literally ran away and was like ice, and it literally just went into a scene like it didn't show how he escaped. He probably just ran away, but he's literally like, I know the path that they're on, and that's when he went to them and was like, we need to craft a ring of the yellow power.
Yeah.
It was literally that, because you hear the narration. He's like, I saw them getting, you know, their soul sucked out because they had fear. The strongest warriors we have. Our whole thing is willpower, and that's once again plays into the fucking story. It's great. It was great, but it did happen. It was just not a long clip. It just
Yeah, I feel like we should have seen an actually like well drawn out fight with Parallax to actually show Parallax's true power.
we did.
I felt like
he kills everyone. That's his power. He's
Well,
that.
yeah.
I thought they did a good job at showing how strong he was. I will kill you all. That's how it is.
Yeah, because like I think it kind of makes sense that no one fought him, because the level his power's on it's not like you can have a fight with him. You kind of just die when you get too close.
Facts. Because he takes that fear and you die.
Speaking of which, another thing about dying, which made no sense to me, when Hal is getting basically grappled by Parallax and getting the fucking life sucked out of him, I mean, we've seen that some Green Lantern members are not invincible or immortal by any means. They literally can die just from like a blast or from something as simple as, you know, certain attacks, just generic attacks. My question is when Carol shot that fucking missile point blank into Hal and Parallax's face, how did Hal not get any form of damage from that?
The lantern suit.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
say again?
yeah. So, okay, the scene where Parallax is holding on to Hal and he is, like, giving him the big suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen that the Lantern suit can be damaged by some simple, like, explosions and crashes and everything like that. Because, for example, Aban Sur, he got fucked up. Not only from Parallax, but also his suit was damaged from the crash.
Well, yeah. No. But so did Hal though.
But I feel like Hal should have taken more damage.
I don't know if he should have, because in that scene, like, the only more damage, like, if you look at the scene, which I think it would have helped if you had seen the scene where they fought him, where the other Lantern Corps members had fought him, like, they got their soul sucked out, yeah, but when they got their soul sucked out, like this, it was like a skeleton kind of image came out of them, right? And it was like a yellow skeleton image came out of them. Their actual suit didn't get damaged, even though it's, like, they die. Yeah, when Aban Sur died, his suit disappeared because his will's gone. He's not there. But he also didn't get his soul sucked out. He just got attacked and got hit by Parallax, and part of Parallax was in him. It had, like, So, I mean, I understand the logic behind it. I understand what they were trying to do. I didn't think... Yeah, I just don't think he was going to get much damage from having his soul sucked out of him. He didn't actually get attacked until later when, like, he got clipped by something when he was running through, like... He used... We'll get into that, but,
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll give my thoughts. We touched on a lot I already wanted to talk about. I think the overall positives for this movie was it was generally pretty happy and fun. Like, the first time he saves everybody, he puts a helicopter on a Hot Wheels track and sends it flying out, and it's
that
just
was
kind
pretty
of
interesting.
Yep.
It's different and it's fun. And then they were even kind of like really Hot Wheels. You couldn't think of anything else. He's like, I saved everybody, didn't I? It's like, it's good banter.
Mm-hmm.
The best friend was definitely a fucking character, and I loved
that
him.
was Taika Waititi.
Yeah. These good characters. I'm just going to talk about all of my positives first. I felt like the squid is good and bad. I think the fact that his head was what it was is good because it matches all the other ancient ones, whatever they were called. So you could, like, put it together yourself. Oh, okay, before they even talk about Parallax as one of the lost ones, it's like, oh, there's a dude missing. The bad guy's head looks like theirs. Oh, okay, he must be that's him. So I get what they were trying to do there. We talked about the relationship was good. I liked all of the parallels they drew with everything for Hal being afraid, and he's thinking about his dad, and what else to kind of...
You mentioned a couple characters you didn't think belonged in the movie or were kind of shoehorned in. Who were those characters?
I'm trying to think of all of the positives first before I go into my negatives. I think I liked all of the visual effects, and then okay, I think that's about it. Yeah. When I judge something more critiquingly, I don't want to think about prior story material. I go based solely on, like, how well is the story written out? Is there plot holes or whatever or something? So what I thought was not well done, like I said before, the characters, the nephew, and all the family he meets there, that was kind of a pointless scene.
Mm-hmm.
I get that they were trying to do, yeah, he's scared about losing me because I was scared about losing my dad. But that's the only scene he's in, and that character isn't a major part of his life because he's only shown once in the movie. Therefore, how can we care about him? He's only there once, so it kind of felt shoehorned in.
Agreed, because I thought the PTSD was going to be played heavy throughout the film.
I thought he'd have another
wasn't.
flashback of his dad, like, while fighting Parallax.
Or something.
He had more fear thinking about his dad. That was better, but still, that wasn't necessary with the kid. They needed to have more of the kid later then or something, where he, like, actually, maybe his family dies and he takes on the new parental role or something, and he's like, oh shit, my new dad's a superhero, so now I'm even more scared of losing him. But he's like, no, kid,
right,
I got this,
like,
or something.
Hammond knows him from before. Like, he could have been like, show up to their house and be like, your house, family, and then kill them all, and then leave the kid alone, or leave the kid alive, and make that the big point that you have to save them instead of saving the badass that Blake Lively played, which like I said, I appreciated her character. But yeah.
Yeah. Now, for every superhero story, it's always the power of, like, you can do it makes you stronger. This is the only movie where that makes sense.
It's the whole point of the fucking
their
power.
The whole point of their power is if you believe in yourself more, you are stronger. So it just made sense for once where he's like, I believe in myself, therefore he can actually do it.
And the stronger
So
his
I
will,
kinda-
the stronger his power. Literally.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I appreciate this. On a side note, why the fuck wasn't Parallax dead when they sent the strongest lanterns? Do you remember how Parallax died? He got sucked into a giant sun or whatever. The sun, right?
Yeah. Which I thought that was actually
What-
a really cool nod back to,
Not back to
the
when he was
training.
getting training.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's a problem. What did the guy in training make?
Recruit-
A literal sun with the same gravitational force.
They're not, apparently,
Why
they're not as
didn't
smart as
that
Hal
guy-
was. They didn't think of the one thing that would probably... Because they're in the moment, they're
So
like...
why didn't that guy make a sun and kill Parallax and be done and over with it?
He wasn't one of the strongest lanterns that was there.
So then the other stronger ones should have been able to do it all the same then.
They could have fused
Why did-
their lantern power together technically
Yes,
to
they
make
could
one
have, but
giant
they
ass
didn't,
sun.
and it sucks. All right, I get it. You have to kill
So
off
that-
somebody in order to make him seem strong. Saying they're the
And-
strongest lanterns does not mean they're the smartest or whatever. Remember, they're not all the same. I get it. I didn't love that.
That's my problem is like don't show that then because they should have had something else where he has to face like they throw him at an actual sun or something and then he's like you feel that instead of making one because that just makes a plot hole there of we could have killed this thing the whole time. I could just make the thing that you killed it with.
I mean, to be fair, that also kind of gives Sinestro more of a reason to basically turn. Because if you think about it, Sinestro's like, oh, I'll just take the strongest fighters and we'll kick his ass. And then sees that all of his dudes die, strikes fear into Sinestro, and then immediately afterwards sees that Hal Jordan managed to do something that he could have just done from the start. Makes Sinestro even more petty.
Yeah, no, it literally gives him all the reason, which is why, once again, harkening back to what I said, if you would have just made the smallest bit of, like, inference of Sinestro's gonna turn and just mention that he's starting to doubt the fucking Green Lantern Corps, instead of just saying, like, yeah, he mentioned, like, yeah, we need the power of the ring, but fucking hell, man, the yellow ring, but come on now. You didn't even mention it at the end that he kind of still doesn't believe in Green
I mean,
Lanterns.
but you look at the guy, his name's Sinestro, you know he's going to be bad, right? I didn't
His
even
name's
know who
literally
he was, and I'm
Sinister,
like,
in another word.
Yeah,
yeah, and
but-
I'm like, this guy's going to be evil at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, like, we're on the same page here. It could have been, there are
Yeah.
parts that could have been done better. Overall, pretty damn good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I gave it an 8 at first, and it's just like, these are the things I was like, these are clear issues that needed to be done
Not
better.
as bad as like a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, no,
I don't
no.
know what the fuck
like-
they were on. That's, the internet's been mean to this movie for so long.
See, real quick, just Marcus mentioning like the naming of Sinestro, and it's like, oh well, this guy's clearly bad. It's like when my buddy watched the Fantastic Four movie the first time and heard the name Victor Von Doom, he goes, oh, this guy's probably nice. The name is literally Von Doom. Ah, yes, this dude is clearly a great guy. He
Yeah,
does
obviously.
charity supports and all that, you know, fundraising.
Yep, does charity, has a giant statue of himself. It's okay.
Literally owns an entire country and slaves people. You know, no.
That one's not in the Fantastic Four movies yet. They haven't
but
actually
in the comics,
They haven't even put him to... Yeah, but they haven't made him go to Latvia yet, which,
right?
at least in Marvel now, the MCU, there was the only mention of anything Fantastic Four before Multiverse was someone mentioned the word Latvia, and that was enough for the fan base to lose their mind, because they were like, Von Doom incoming! Yes!
Do you... Okay, so we need to wrap this up because we got stuff to do after this. And I'm probably going to get some food here real soon. What I wanted to say is, do you remember what we rated Teen Titans at the end? The first one, was it like a 4, I want to say, or a 3?
The Justice League vs. Teen Titans, or the Judas contract?
No, the Judas.
Yours was like a 4. I think mine was like a 5. Dylan wasn't here for that
Okay.
one.
I was not a part of it
Because
yet.
I'm trying to keep... I want to keep my skill... Also base it off of what I previously rated. So I would probably say my final vote on this movie is this I'm torn between 6 and 7 because I still genuinely enjoyed it, even though there are problems with it. I guess if, like we were saying, 5 is average, it's 6. It's a slightly above average movie. It's a comic book movie, but it does some things differently, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
So your final would be like a 6, you said?
Yeah.
Heard. Despite my personal gripes with the idea of Green Lantern Corps and all that, because I just hate the idea that they're basically anime characters, power, friendship, and will, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
movie,
if you notice that my review was more positive stuff than negative stuff, and like little just insights here and there, I'm actually gonna go from that 3, and I'm gonna jack it up to a 6 as well, because despite me not being interested in it, I had fun. I mean that's what a comic book movie's supposed to do: make you have fun, make you interested in characters, and not throw too much BS at you. I feel like young Dylan would have enjoyed it. I feel like me now definitely enjoyed it. Better CGI on Parallax though, please.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Dirty Dreadlock Dragon running around again.
Oh,
Jamaican Squidward in space.
guys,
Yeah.
the turntables. Oh no. You know what's incoming right now? After all
What?
of the... I just didn't want to watch this movie. I have the highest score for this movie now.
Holy shit. What is it?
In retrospect, Carlos is doing a heel turn. Let's go.
Holy shit. So...
He originally said
I'm gonna
this
give
was a
you.
one.
I'm gonna give you a quick rundown because real quick, I had a couple of notes only, and then I watched the movie and enjoyed it. First note was literally. First note was literally. Okay, atmosphere captured him and imprisoned him on Ryut, the Lost Sector, under what was a fairly thin piece of rock, because they fell through that shit like nothing. All right, and then found him, and he got released. When he's getting ready to go fly, he's late, and she's like. We should have chose Jensen. He's like, Jensen's busy, not being good enough. That, perfect. Loved it. Him being funny, great.
Loved
There's
that.
water in the tap.
Yeah.
Something he told to the girl that was in his bed. There's water in the tap. Go ahead. And then leaves. Fly safe? No.
Oh my god. I mean, you could chalk this up all to Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is great. All right?
Yeah.
Oa also looks as cool as Asgard, and it's not talked about enough. All right? And after all of that, I'm giving this a 7. We're not doing halves.
Hell yeah.
We're not doing halves on this show because that's why we do 0 to 10 here. I'm giving it a 7. I now officially went from the one that hated this the most because I was the only one that watched it to I actually genuinely enjoyed this movie. I would probably watch it again in the distant future. Not too soon, but a distant future, I'd watch this again.
I'm glad of the 2 reactions of you hating having to watch this again and you actually liking the movie now. That this is the better outcome.
I will agree. I mean, not a lot of movies make me want to watch them a second time. I actually watched this a second time literally the night before, and I enjoyed it the second time. So I'm like, damn it, I have to change my entire review. It's actually
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting back to when I just opened up the podcast with, it's just okay.
It's just okay. 2 minutes in, it's just okay. I'm so glad that we got to bring you up on that because this was actually a good movie. I thought it deserved higher than a 3 after watching it for the second time in my life.
I can recommend some bangers every now and then.
So
I'm
we're definitely gonna have to get going now.
Yep.
We've got stuff to do this afternoon.
and
Correct.
we're gonna go see Black Adam, which we will be reviewing.
Black Adam is what. Yes, there you go. We're doing Black Adam next week.
There
so
no problem.
Tune in then.
We're gonna watch the Rock Bop.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.